Gothic novels do not have sequels. Howdy there, darling. I'm the librarian, and this is the book return. Romeo and Juliet. With vampires. Oh, and both their families like each other. Romeo and Juliet is the story of two young lovers who are forbidden by their families to see each other. In order to get around this, the lovers concoct a complex, easily fallible scheme, and the moment things go wrong, they start whipping out knives and toxins. Okay, seriously, Romeo and Juliet is overdone. I'm not going to care about a romance just because there are obstacles in the way. There has to be something in the characters themselves that makes me care about them. And frankly, Romeo and Juliet are not good role models. Remember, the plan was for Juliet to fake her death and she would run away with Romeo. And what exactly do Juliet's parents say when they're tricked into believing that their daughter, their only child, mind you, is dead? Yeah, Juliet, sweetie, you couldn't face a couple of awkward family dinners. Americans have a whole holiday about this. Now we get to throw vampires and werewolves into this. Joy. As if we're not smart enough to see the parallel for ourselves, Meyer throws it at us by having them reading Romeo and Juliet in school. She even shamelessly foreshadows Edward's suicide attempt. Wait a minute. Killed his true love. Edward, who are you talking about? You can't mean Juliet. Juliet killed herself. Romeo was kind of dead at the time. So, who are you referring to there, Eddie? Well, let me think. Who did Romeo kill? Well, Paris, sure, but he tried to avoid that fight. Same goes for the fight with Talbot. He only killed Paris because Paris was going to kill him, and he only killed Talbot because Talbot killed Mercurio. Romeo killed in self-defense and to avenge a friend's murder. Stupidity had nothing to do with it. What, did he kill Rosalind off-screen or something? So the Cullens throw Bella a birthday party, and somehow she's a big enough klutz to give herself a gash from wrapping paper. And Jasper, in a fit of mercy, tries to eat her and just end the film for us. Aw, it's okay, you tried. So Edward has two options at this point. He can step between them and calmly speak to his brother about how he won't have a career after these films are done, or he can throw Bella backwards into a mirror, giving her further injuries. He chooses the mirror. Okay, seriously, Bella's dad doesn't wonder why she keeps breaking up with and getting back together with her boyfriend, coming home from dates with mysterious injuries, and she doesn't want to talk about any of this. I don't know about you, but if she were my kid, I'd be calling an abuse hotline. So Edward decides to leave Bella. Why? Because that way they're separated, just like in Romeo and Juliet. And since nobody can remember the reason the lovers were separated in this play, Edward's just leaving her without an explanation. So after moping for about 5 or 6 months by my count, Bella decides to do something. Like fall in with werewolves. Only it takes her about half the movie to see that they're werewolves. Oh joy, another mystery that the audience solved before Bella. This one at least tries to change things. It doesn't, but it tries. Jake is dealing with all of his I'm a werewolf now stuff, and Bella doesn't understand why Jake is being so distant. But eventually she does figure it out and they're friends again. So yeah, nothing really changes. Except that now it's suddenly okay to talk to the white chick about the ancient tribal secret. I can't figure out if being a werewolf is supposed to be a curse or not. Now it's true that the whole bitten by a wolf, turning at the moon curse is a Hollywood invention. In folklore, especially Northwest Native American skinwalker legends, werewolves can change at will. There's no curse, there's no losing control of yourself. The whole point of the skinwalker dance is letting the animal spirit out. But when Jake is forbidden to talk to Bella, he sure acts like he's cursed. But once Bella knows, it's like, hey, come over to our clubhouse. We have muffins. The film goes out of its way to establish that Bella and Jake make sense. They're childhood friends, they both like cars, they go to movies, they eat pizza. They're normal teenagers. Bella and Ed just lay in meadows. At one point, Bella's father even tells her, sometimes you have to learn to love what's good for you. And you know what? He's absolutely right. What, Meyer, you want a cookie? Jane Austen figured that out over 100 years ago. They try to do this whole thing with the vampires and the werewolves like the Montagues and the Capulets. And if Bella were either a vampire or a werewolf, that would actually mean something. Eventually, Bella does try to do something in this film. She tries to kill herself. Okay, so fans will say that it's an adrenaline rush, but really, she hangs out with bikers and goes cliff jumping alone. If that's not reckless suicidal behavior, I don't know what is. What's even worse, her dialogue right before she jumps off the cliff indicates that this is nothing more than a pathetic attempt to get Ed to notice her. Now, it's true that many suicidal personalities, especially teenagers, don't really want to die. They really are just looking for attention. Of course, I love that Bella is doing all of this while there are mysterious deaths all around. Deaths she should be smart enough to connect with vampires. So Edward thinks Bella is dead, and he plans to Kevorkian himself too. Okay, the tension's really ratcheted up high now, and in order to relieve it, we have to prove that Bella is alive. Okay, Bella, let's think about your options in terms of the fastest solutions, shall we? Number 1, call him. Okay, he broke his phone. There are other phones in the world. Call his neighbor, call his hotel, call his landlord. Just get him on the other end of the line and talk to him. Number 2, call the other Cullens. Have them stop Edward. Now, I admit I don't know where the other Cullens are at this point in the story, but I'm willing to bet that they're closer to Edward than Alice and Bella. And even if they aren't, wouldn't they be able to travel faster without the human? Hog-tie him and drag him back to Forks. Number 3, telepathy. Anyone? Now, I'm not sure how all of the Cullens' various powers work, but if any of their powers makes anything like telepathy even possible, give it a try. Number 4, use Jasper's mood control. Use Jasper's mood control to make Edward happy and not want to kill himself. Hey, it's faster than international travel! Number 5, my personal favorite, call ahead. Okay, so you know he's going to the Volturi to kill himself, right? Why not call ahead and leave a message for him at the front desk? No, I'm serious. He'd walk in, ask to see the Volturi head, and the secretary would be like, "Oh, there's a message for you from a Miss Bella Swan." He'd pick up the note. It would just be like, "Jake lied. Call me." He'd rush out, get one of those prepaid card phones, call her up, and she'd be like, "Yeah, I'm totally fine." And that would be it. The movie would be over. Twilight, New Moon. We forgot to cast a villain! Here's a question for you. Who's the antagonist of New Moon? Maybe it's Edward for leaving Bella. Oh, but they end up together at the end. So maybe it's Jake for coming between Bella and Edward. But he saves her life at one point. That's pretty heroic. Ooh, I got it. It must be Sam for brainwashing Jake, right? Wait, no. He's helping him deal with the whole werewolf thing. Gee, we're getting to the bottom of the barrel here. Let's see. Dreads is killed off pretty quickly. Vicky is in the shadows the whole time. Gee, I guess it's the Volturi. The Volturi are a secret vampire society. Oh, good grief, I hate this cliche. This is the kind of thing that sounds cool if you don't think about it. Now, I understand that a powerful organization is creepier if it's also a secret, but it only makes sense to keep something a secret if that benefits you in some way. Which is why I have no problem believing that the Cullens would keep themselves a secret. They want to be seen as a normal human family. But does this make sense for the Volturi? Stephenie Meyer, like many others today, just doesn't understand the horror elements that have made vampires such a staple in folklore. The terror of a vampire is that there is something higher than humans on the food chain. Now, even if your vampires are vegetarians, they are still above humans in the animal chain. The implication is that vampires will one day replace human dominancy just as we replaced apes. So why hide? It's made clear that the Volturi don't care about human lives. Why should they care if humans know they exist? Are they afraid of humans? Oh gee, the first film makes it pretty clear that humans can't do anything about sparkly vampires. So why would they be? What's the logic in vampires having a secret society, complete with a top-secret clubhouse? When did vampires become a bunch of 6th grade girls? So it turns out that Bella is immune to all vampire powers. Oh, except for Jasper's mood control and Alice's visions. And this is a big deal because... it's odd. Really, Meyer? You're not even gonna throw in a half-assed prophecy about the one? Okay, fine, whatever, it's your crappy book series. No, you know what? No. You don't get off that easy, Meyer. Give me a reason. Give me some reason that Bella is immune. Give me a prophecy, give me a reincarnation, something. Just give me something. So the Twilight films try to build Bella up as this big, brave role model. She's willing to die for her mother in the first film and Edward in the second. But it's not a sacrifice. She's motivated because she can't live without them. In the vampire clubhouse, Bella passes it to a group made up of innocent men, women, and children. It is obvious that these people are going to be massacred by the vampires, and our heroine walks away. At this point in the novel, Edward proposes. Really? Really, you dump her and put her into a depressed, suicidal state, and now you want to marry her? Yes, 12-year-old girls, if your boyfriend leaves you, try to kill yourself. Then he'll come back and marry you. That's a great message. So Bella goes to the Cullens to make them vote on killing her. Why this is a vote and not simply Bella's choice is beyond me. But regardless, they vote. Alice says yes. Jasper says yes. Rosalie says no, explaining that she wished someone had voted no for her, which sounds like an insult against Carlisle to me. Emmett says why not. Esme says yes. And Carlisle is in a state of shock about Rosalie's last comment. The drama of Romeo and Juliet is forbidden love. It's not taboo. It's not people will talk. It's forbidden. Romeo and Juliet had to go to extreme lengths to be together. Bella and Edward don't. And that's why this doesn't work. The film goes out of its way to show Jake earning Bella's love. Edward does nothing to warrant getting her back, and she still ends up with him. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
We are just like Romeo and Juliet. We're happy, young, and bubbling with love. I can't wait to read the ending. I can't either, but I'm sure it turns out real smart that Romeo marries his Juliet. They have a baby and make lots of friends. That's probably the way the play ends.
Your stupid minds! Stupid! Stupid!